Hey, what's up, everybody? The new moon in Gemini is happening this Sunday, and since it was Gemini, I decided I would do a little video post because I haven't done that for a minute, so here we go. So, the new moon in Gemini, new moons are times to set new plans, start a new thing, set intentions toward new goals, all that kind of stuff. So, with it being in Gemini, this has to do with communication, expression, um, talking it out. Talking it out with people, getting opinions and viewpoints, having a sounding board, all that kind of stuff. And by the time the full moon happens, that'll happen in, I believe the full moon will happen in Capricorn. Then that's the time to really take action on those plans and wrap up all those things that you're setting intentions for now. They also say that it is a time where the sun has not illuminated the moon yet. They're in the same position, so we're more raw, we're more primal, like we're not as conscious of our kind of emotional, intuitive drives yet. So we're also kind of growing light into this realm of communication within this lunation. Um, so yeah, communication issues are kind of at the forefront. I got a new book. It's not new, it's a really old book, but I got it at Ken Sanders Rare Books in Salt Lake, so I thought it was pretty cool. It's by Nicholas DeVore. It's the Encyclopedia of Astrology, and I just kind of looked up some things within that. This is happening in the second decan of Gemini, and he says it has to do with fidelity and espousal of progressive causes. So I can get with that. Hell yeah. It's also happening at 14 degrees Gemini, and he says specifically this degree, it's a degree of dumbness from impaired speech organs. So there's a lot of communication issues, but there also might be something that is not said, something that is not able to be said, something like that, like some kind of not being able to talk. Weird. So we're almost done with this Mercury retrograde. In the next couple of days after the new moon, we should be coming out of the shadow zone, so our communication in general should be moving forward. And then another week or so after that, Gemini will be moving, or Mercury will be moving into the sign of Gemini, and so Mercury will be in its home base after this kind of, in my opinion, really difficult Mercury retrograde in Taurus these last month or so. Venus will also be at 14 degrees Gemini on this new moon, so we've got this new moon happening conjunct Venus. And that's really cool because wherever Venus touches down, it bestows grace and charm and possibly money. It just makes things easier, more fun, more pretty. It attracts good vibes to you. It's called the lesser benefic. Jupiter's the great benefic, and Venus is also the benefic. So Venus's influence will be with us over this next moon cycle. So that's really good. So the big thing that's happening on this moon cycle, I looked at it today. It's happening right now. Today is Thursday, and this is happening on Sunday. So I think all of these things will still be in effect. All of these positions will still be in aspect, but we've got a mutable grand cross going on right now. So the Sun, Moon, and Venus, new moon, all at the same place, 14 degrees Gemini, is going to be opposition Saturn at 13 degrees Sagittarius. And then we've also got Jupiter at 14 degrees Virgo and Neptune at 12 degrees Pisces. So basically, with a mutable grand cross, it's going to bring up issues. First of all, the grand cross is one of the most rare aspects because it takes these planets so long to actually create it. A grand cross is considered like it's a time of extreme tension, or basically just a time where like it's a kind of a shake-up. It's a time where things are happening. There's these two oppositions where oppositions are striving to create a balance, but then it also creates four squares on the outside, and squares are aspects of tension and also great energy, so it can be like a kind of a call to action kind of a situation. But with it being a mutable grand cross and all of the mutable signs, to me that says that it's issues of adaptability. Can you go with the flow? Can you switch it up? Also, you might have to be making a lot of decisions, and you're kind of looking at the pros and cons of everything and not knowing which way is the best to go. Is it the lesser of two evils? That kind of a thing. So adaptability and decision making are kind of the biggest things that I kind of see happening with that. So with the Grand Cross all happening, we've got this, our consciousness, our intuition, and our attraction all in Gemini. So it's all happening in this communication realm. And this is going to bring up awareness, especially in this moon cycle, of local issues. This is your neighborhood. This is your local commute, every day-to-day commute, the place where you live, basically. It can also be like the place where you grew up. It's places that are your familiar local kind of scene. So we're going to be very aware of all of these kind of social things. We're going to be talking with people. Gemini also is siblings and, communication, things like that. So we're going to be very aware of this social kind of having a sounding board, talking with people, hashing it out. But opposition on the other side of that, excuse me, there's a bug on me. On the other side of that, we've got Saturn and Sagittarius, and wherever Saturn's at, that's kind of our collective, kind of karmic, where we need to learn our lessons. And when you're in Sagittarius is about learning your higher lessons and learning kind of your own higher truth and higher consciousness and your own higher path. And so when you've got your trials in this place where you're learning and having all of these trials anyway, it creates a very grounded, kind of serious tone for you on your own kind of life path. You need to look higher for the answers. So there's going to be this big increased focus in kind of pleasurable activities going on, lots of people, lots of talking it out, but then also needing to balance that with this internal kind of search for higher truth and learning these higher lessons that we're all kind of going through with this Saturn and Sag energy. So that's one of the oppositions of this Grand Cross. And the other one is that we've got Jupiter, the great benefic, expanding all of the details for us in Virgo and expanding kind of our day-to-day work, our routines, our health habits. I've noticed that since Jupiter went into Virgo at the end of last summer, I've just been getting slammed on details, just detail work, detail in my paperwork, detail in how I approach my job, etc., right? You got to come in with details. So you've got this expansion of this detail kind of oriented Virgo energy that has to do with how we take care of ourselves and how we serve others. And its opposition, Neptune. Neptune's been camped out in Pisces for a really long time, and it will be for a while. But its opposition, this Neptune, where Neptune dissolves everything. Neptune dissolves the borders. So the borders are growing over here with Jupiter and Virgo, and over here with Neptune and Pisces, it's dissolving. Everything is fading into itself and becoming one. So there's this kind of expansion of our day-to-day duties, and then this, with Neptune being in its home sign of Pisces, there's this spiritual energy. There's also this kind of delusion that happens wherever Pisces is or wherever Neptune touches. Do we get carried away in our fantasies? Is our spiritual energy kind of connected into the right causes and all that kind of stuff? So all of this Grand Cross all together, our consciousness is going to be very much entwined in other people and in talking it out, where our higher trials and our learning is going to be in this kind of searching inward and going to this higher truth and higher consciousness and not really talking it out so much. There's that balance. And then the other balance of this day-to-day work in actual physical reality. What can I do with my hands routine? That's blowing up. So the balance of this expansion of our work and real life routines and this dissolution of this kind of spiritual energy that we're all kind of experiencing. So all of these things together create all this tension. So we're having this difficulty deciding things, difficulty coming to a decision, maybe difficulty in adapting to different scenarios. But real good news, I'm going to try to finish this up real quick because I ran out of time last time. I tried to make a damn video. Okay. We've got also a kite going on. So this is also coming off of Neptune in Pisces there. Basically, it gives us transformative power to our communication in an expressive way. We got to tap into that spirituality, and you'll know you're on the right path if your boundaries are dissolving. So in the midst of all this craziness, if your boundaries are dissolving, that's kind of how you know you're on the right way. I'm running out of time. Thanks for listening to my video. This new moon cycle will be setting off this Grand Cross. Good luck with everything. willpowerastrology.com.